In our super connected world, companies are always, and I mean always, looking for that next big thing, that competitive edge. But what if the real key to unlocking amazing performance isn't some new app or gadget, but the people you already have? Well, that's exactly what we're digging into today, the incredible power of organizational inclusiveness. So let me ask you this. What is the secret to a high-performing team? Is it just having the smartest people? Or maybe an unlimited budget? The truth is, it's a little more complicated than that. It's not just about having a diverse group of talented people. It's all about how you bring them together. Okay, so let's get our terms straight. First up, diversity. Now, at its heart, diversity is pretty simple. It's about respecting and accepting that every single person is unique. It's the whole mix of genders, races, abilities, beliefs, backgrounds, everything that makes up your team. It's the basic idea that everyone brings something valuable to the table. But, and this is a big but, just having a diverse team isn't the whole story. That's where inclusiveness comes in. This is where the magic really happens. Inclusion is the action part. It's about creating an environment where all those different voices don't just exist, but are actually heard, respected, and valued. That is what unlocks a team's real power. Here's a great way to think about it. Diversity is like having a full orchestra with all the different instruments, violins, trumpets, drums, the whole shebang. But inclusion, that's making sure every single instrument gets to play its part, all working together to create a beautiful symphony. So why should a business care about all this? What's the bottom line? Well, it turns out that inclusion isn't just some nice-to-have thing. It's a massive competitive advantage. Let's break down the actual business case for it. First off, higher job satisfaction. I mean, this just makes sense, right? When people feel like their unique ideas are actually valued and they're treated with respect, they're just happier coming to work. It's really that simple. And guess what? Happy employees tend to stick around. When people feel like they belong, your employee turnover rate goes way down. That saves companies a ton of money in recruiting and training, and it keeps all that valuable experience from walking right out the door. This naturally leads to higher productivity. In a place where people feel included, they're more engaged, morale is higher, and all of that positive energy translates directly into better work and better results for the whole company. Now, this is one of the biggest payoffs, a huge boost in creativity and innovation. Think about it. When you bring together people with totally different backgrounds and ways of thinking, you basically create an idea factory. These teams can solve problems and see opportunities that a team where everyone thinks the same just can't. And when you put all of that together, you get much greater organizational flexibility. An inclusive company can pivot and adapt way more quickly to a changing world, mainly because its diverse team can understand and connect with a much wider range of customers and markets. All right, so we've covered the why. Now let's get into the how. And we're going to start by focusing on something really important, breaking down barriers for people with disabilities and turning those obstacles into opportunities. The World Health Organization has a really powerful way of putting this. They say disability isn't just about a person's body, it's about the interaction between that person and the society they live in. What that really means is that the barriers people face are often built by society, not by the person themselves. So what do these barriers actually look like? Well, some are attitudinal, stereotypes or employers having low expectations. Some are physical, like a building with no ramp or a website that's impossible to navigate. And some are systemic, like unequal access to education. These are the very real hurdles that stop talented people from getting in the game. So here's a roadmap to start taking them down. It all starts with inclusive practices, like training people to challenge their own biases. Then you need inclusive policies, like actually budgeting for accommodations. Next, it's about creating an inclusive environment, making sure everyone can participate in meetings and events. And finally, you have to build the infrastructure, the ramps, the lifts, the accessible tech to make it all a reality. Now, let's shift gears to another huge piece of the puzzle, breaking down gender barriers. Because even with all the progress we've made, women still face some major and often invisible obstacles at work. The most famous of these is probably the glass ceiling. It's this unseen but very real barrier. Women can see the top leadership roles, they can work hard for them, but then they hit this invisible wall that holds them back, no matter how good they are at their job. And it's not just the glass ceiling. There's the gender pay gap that just won't seem to go away. There's bias against leadership styles that aren't traditionally masculine. And then there's something called the sticky floor, which is what happens when women get trapped in low-paying jobs with almost no chance to move up. So how do we fight this? Well, it takes action on two fronts. For individuals, things like building strong professional networks and finding a good mentor can make a huge difference. But the really big changes have to come from the organization itself, creating policies that actively work to attract, develop, and promote talented women into leadership. Okay, let's zoom out and put all these pieces together. What's the actual blueprint for building a workplace that's truly welcoming for everyone? You know, big successful companies like AT&T really get this. Their senior VP, Cynthia Brinkley, said it perfectly. It's about two things. One, you have to actively seek out diverse talent. And two, you have to give them real opportunities to grow once they're there. That's really the core of it all. So, what does that look like day to day? Well, it means having transparent policies so there are no hidden rules. It means building a strong learning culture where everyone gets coaching. It means having a fair, unbiased way to handle conflicts when they come up. And it means being an active part of your local community because no company is an island. And when we say everyone, we absolutely mean everyone. That welcome has to include the LGBT community. That means having clear non-discrimination policies that protect people based on gender identity. It means training people not to make assumptions. It means practical things, like having gender-neutral bathrooms. And it means providing ongoing education so people can learn and grow in their understanding. So I'll leave you with a question to think about. Take a hard look at your own workplace. Do you just have a mix of different faces in the room? Or have you really, truly created an environment where every single person feels safe, valued, and empowered to do their absolute best work? Is your workplace just diverse? Or is it truly inclusive?